All right, guys, what's going on? Welcome to the Forge Podcast. This is a Christian-based podcast that we and Osiris here started quite a while ago, but we are finally getting this filmed and filmed correctly.
Yes.
When I tell you, we have had some hiccups when it came to recording, and we've had to add tools and things to make sure everything meshed together well and everything like that. But we are here today, and what's up? How y'all doing?
Yes. It's been a long journey, but we are here now. We're excited. It looks good.
Yeah, it looks fantastic.
So hopefully you guys think so as well, because if you only know what's going on in the background,
right?
We hope you appreciate this.
Yeah, when I tell you, I mean, I have a background in film and cameras and stuff like that, but this is different, having like three cameras streaming at once, and two that I'm switching over here on the side with my hand, and it's just a lot. It can be a lot, and I'm trying not to look down on my computer too much and look at who I'm talking to, and then the mic situation.
But just know this:
yes,
Joe is all pro in media. He's doing all things right now. First team All American over here.
Wow, I respect that. I appreciate that.
Of course,
I needed to hear that because right now I'm not doing it.
Hey,
I'll beat myself up a little too much.
Hey, you doing more than me, okay?
Gotcha.
But appreciate it.
Do you want to introduce the topic?
Yeah. So as Joe said, welcome to the Forge Podcast. I'm Osiris, of course. This is Joe.
I'm Joe. I didn't say my name. Sorry.
And we're excited to be here.
For y'all that don't know, sorry for the alarm. My wife is pregnant with our second child. My little boy on the way. And so you gotta respond to those kind of messages when they pop up. I'm a dad
for sure.
He's a dad, so you got to do what you got to do. But anyway, continue on with your story.
Yeah. I kind of forgot where I was, but pretty much long story. Oh yeah,
you in Nashville, right?
You
in Nashville.
Yeah.
You're different.
Yeah. We took her to we drove to Nashville, went to the zoo, and we witnessed the eclipse.
Okay.
And that was dope. But ever since then, we've really been kicking it. And like, just to answer your question, Stephanie was really the only woman that ever challenged me. And that piqued me. And I was like, I need somebody to challenge me. And she's, challenged me for the better. And because of her, man, our relationship, we have two beautiful kids. We both are like growing in our careers. We have a house, we have 2 cars, we have 2 dogs. And a lot of that is because Stephanie came in and challenged me to step up as a man. And that just kind of led us in the right direction.
Yeah, I always think that when a woman comes into a household, she builds a home. Like, you had a house before, you were good, you were by yourself, you was fine. But when a woman comes into it, you move different.
And then I think too, like, when it comes with the difference between men and women, we are very simple. True. Right? We are very simple. Like, bruh. I used to eat bland chicken, rice, and black beans. Consistent.
You was eating more than me.
Hey, you know what I'm saying? Like, when I was going to the gym, when I was working, that was it. Get my protein, get my stuff, and beer. You know what I mean? That's it.
And
That's
beer.
all I needed. You know what I mean? And then Stephanie came in. She's like, "What are you doing? like, you're not putting no season on nothing." You know what I mean? Like, pretty much. And so she started cooking and doing all this other stuff. And when we got in a relationship, I did not believe in credit.
Ooh.
I moved in money. I moved in cash.
Which is still a good thing.
But but like, because I've always had a bad experience. Like, I've always had heard horror stories of credit and people wishing they not messing up their credit and things like that. So I was just like, you know what? I'm just not gonna put myself in position to get bad credit. So I'm gonna move in cash. I used to have my wallet full of cash everywhere I went. Things like that. And then but Stephanie, on the other hand, she was like, get a credit card, like, do this. And I got a credit card. I built my credit, and it's in a very good spot to where we can do these things. Get in the house, get in these cars, and not having any issues, not having any like have to jump through hoops and ladders. And just because she was like, hey, go ahead and let's start doing it now. And that's when I was like, what, 24? Yeah, like 24 years old, 23, 24, whenever that may have been. And so, really challenging me to be better and grow in other areas that I would just, kind of, I'm not going to say naive in, but, I just wasn't paying attention to.
Gotcha. So overall, Stephanie challenged you to be a better man, to dive into grown.
Yeah.
Versus like
just being okay where I was. Yeah, 100%.
And not to say that that's wrong, because don't get me wrong. I feel you when you say it's simple.
Yeah.
We're very simple.
Very.
Because for me, as long as I had a TV, a bed,
facts,
and a game system,
facts. That's all I need.
That's all I need.
Facts.
I ain't need no living room full of furniture.
Nope.
I ain't need no, a whole bunch of dishes. If I had a plate, a fork, and a pot to cook in,
yeah, that's it.
I'm Gucci.
Just that pot.
So that
just that pot.
Just that pot. But nah, so I feel you on that, like, because that's what Mariah brought to me. I would say, and don't get me wrong, there's things that I taught Mariah taught myself. Because when it came to credit, boy, when we started dating, I ain't caring about credit. I think a couple of years into us dating, I started to get really into financial literacy. Yeah. Because I was like, I'm tired of being broke. Yeah. Like I was making good money. I was in film. Like I was probably making like $4,000 a month. Right. And I was living in the heart of the city in Atlanta and doing my thing. But I didn't really care enough to make some moves. So then I started investing and stuff like that. But besides that, Mariah's credit was fantastic. When we got married, my credit was crappy. It was terrible, bro. It was like 3 something. Oh. Yeah. It was 386 or something like that. Jeez. I don't know how it's possible now. I don't know. Because not when we got married. When we got married, it was like 4 something. Okay. Let's say that. But when we were dating, it was 3 something. Okay. But then I started like, okay, let's put into this. Let's work. Building. So then, I already knew about authorized users, and Mariah had good credit. So I was like, I'm going on every single one of your cards. Just don't give me the card. just don't give me the card. You keep the cards. You doing good. I'm gonna stay on as an authorized user. And so with doing that, she helped balance me on how to spend. And then it came to balancing me on how to manage my time. Because Mariah is a person who will talk to me about my issues that I want to avoid. Yeah. But she'll like, hey, you just asked me to keep you accountable on this. Yeah. Like, what are you doing? Like last night, I'll be real with you. I said, I want to go get ice cream. And right now, if y'all don't know, because y'all don't know this, I'm in a challenge. I can't cut my hair until I get into peak physique. Right now, I'm getting nice. I'm pretty straight. I fit this shirt pretty well. But
filling out.
Yeah, so I can't cut my hair. It's a Samson challenge. You can talk about that later. You see on my Instagram or my TikTok. Anyway,
nice little plug there.
Yeah, plug. But so what she brought when it came to that ice cream thing, she was like, hey, like, you don't need this. You having a sweet tea. You had ice cream earlier this week. You really had it twice. You think I didn't know. But I know. And you need to chill out. And I'm like, come on, babe. It's Friday. She ain't let me use none of the excuses. She said, you're going to stay your butt right here in this bed. And you going to not take away from the work that you did earlier today when you worked out. When you worked out for 2 hours.
That's
you
good.
Pushed it. So Mariah, for me, brought balance. And I love that girl, man. I love that woman so much. Like, I can't even tell you, like I talked to you about that incident at work when that woman came to me to try to add me into her poly relationship. Yeah. And I was like, I believe in Jesus. And my wife would be pissed.
Man, we have to talk about that another time.
That is another time for real, but that was wild. But she just, man, she's my peace, bro. And the thing is, she worked so hard for this marriage, man. So hard. Like sometimes I feel like I'm not doing enough. And I look at her, I'm like, you really doing it all. But then she reminds me, like, you really doing some stuff, babe. And I'm like, dang, I appreciate that.
And I think that's the beautiful thing about marriage. One, you really find somebody that is the opposite of you.
Yeah.
But the same at the same time. Right? And so I think, and everything you said about Mariah, I feel the same thing about Stephanie. You know, she is like the complete opposite of me, but the complete same at the same time. It's to the point where it's disgusting how we can think about, like, literally thinking the same thing, but I'm the one that says it. You know, I'm the mouth of it. She's the brain of it. But yeah, man, like she works so hard, you know, for the family, you know, dealing with our kids. I love my kids, but if you got kids, you know.
Right.
If you got more than one, you know.
It's shoot, I'm about to join them, and man, I'm scared.
And like, you know, they come in, they be up in my face, but they be up in Stephanie. They be trying to get in her skin, and then just like the patience. And she's completely grown as a person. She's grown as a woman. She's grown as a mother, and it's been amazing to see, like the progress that she's making. But man, I don't know where I would be if she didn't come into like. And just interrupted everything I got going on in a good way, you know? And so we were talking about that the other day, and it just like, you know, couldn't, you know, one, how far like, who would have thought, you know, 7 years ago, this was what would have turned out. You know, we had a beautiful family, you know, we're both thriving in our fields.
Right.
And, you know, we're just continuing to grow, not only as individuals, but as a unit as well, which is it's been nice to see.
Yes. I want to shout out to him because he just said both of them doing great in their fields. This man is the manager over at our place of work, and he's doing a fantastic job.
Trying.
He's my boss basically. I mean, at one point you was basically like you weren't my lead.
Nah, yeah.
But you were my lead.
I was
you know,
what's the word? Congruent.
Right.
You know,
exactly,
like I was across the street, but yeah, I mean, and that's a testament to like, if I wasn't in a relationship with Stephanie at the time, and the thing was getting serious, I wouldn't be at the job I was at.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I wouldn't be here. You know what I mean? I went from being in the retail space, like the streetwear space, to corporate space. You know, and I never thought. You know, I went from selling shoes to cars, you know, and I was like, I never thought I'd be in this type of environment, but now I'm like, I'm here, and I've kind of found my place, in kind of the workforce. Because for a while now, you know how it is, just like, what am I going to do? Like, where am I going to go? Like, what do I want to feel like I actually am adding value? And where I am now, I feel like I'm adding value, as corny as that may sound, but I actually feel like I'm making a difference, making an impact, and not only for the company, but in people's lives as well.
See, I wish I felt the same way about that right now, where I'm working, because right now I'm not really feeling it.
Well, I'm gonna be honest with you. I mean, I've been there 6 years, I think. No, 5 years. Yes. 5 or 6 years. One of those. I think it's 6. One of those. I don't know.
Yes.
Either way.
I've been there 6 months.
Yeah. Either way.
7,
give or take. Yeah. It's coming up on a year.
It's coming up. Yeah.
But it definitely took time. You know, it took time for the buy-in, because sometimes what they preach is it's unbelievable sometimes. Like, you know, it's like, is it? Do you guys really feel about that like that? But then when you have times like COVID, and
that was probably real for you.
Yeah, and all these people are being let go, and all these people are, you know, having to figure it out. You know, you had a company that was willing to say, "Hey,
held down the fort.
we not going to let nobody go. The only way we let you go is if you choose that, and we're going to give you this option. But if not, then we're going to find a place for you. And that's exactly what they did. And as me being a new husband, a new father, that was very important for me.
Yeah, because the thing is, this was part of one of my questions, which I'm glad we dove into, which is during COVID, how did that affect your relationship with your wife?
Man, I think I don't want to disrespect anybody because COVID was real. Everyone was impacted by COVID. My mother was hospitalized with COVID.
Oh wow!
And so, and that was hard because she's in a different state. So not being able to go and see her and visit and do everything we needed to do was very tough. So with that being said, COVID was a blessing for us because without COVID, we got to see our daughter grow up.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah, like it like we didn't miss a thing from her first steps, first words, to her birthdays, and we really grew as a couple because we were inside all day. You couldn't do anything, and so there was nothing but us. And of course our immediate family that we could go to, but for the most part, we were locked in our apartment and then too during COVID, like we got this house, like right before the real estate went crazy. We got in here at a good time, got a good rate.
Good time. Let me tell you something, bro. you got in at the perfect time. Because me and mine is trying to find a house, or we looked at houses. Boy, do you know how expensive homes are right now.
Bro, we got our house. I'm gonna tell you right now. So our peak when the interest rates were super crazy and the market was booming, everyone could make, our value of our house was at almost $370,000. We got this house for $200, and was it 200? Was it 200?
I don't know.
I'm trying to think. It was like maybe 210. I need to think, 30, but it wasn't. But I'm talking about like our value increased. We've
yes, you can sell this house and walk away with
something good. Yeah, I forget exactly what the number is, but it was definitely lower than what the buyer wanted to sell for. But we got a good spot, and but now like we could sell it and we could be good. We could be straight. Not for a long time, but for more than what we thought we would. And so that just goes to show like, we were able to do things. And then also we both got promotions in that time. We both started to dive into our careers and stuff like that. So that's but it really grew us. It really grew us in our relationship, in our faith, and ultimately like, we had another kid during COVID. So
y'all did. Y'all had a COVID baby.
Yeah, man. If you have a COVID baby, they are something else. Them pandemic babies.
Right.
They out here.
Dang, I didn't even know that about y'all, that y'all had such a for you a blessing during COVID for your marriage. And because I think mine was totally different. But it's so awesome to hear that it was beneficial for someone else. Especially because you kept working, right?
Yeah.
See, that was awesome. And that's when they really started switching. Like, you can be at home full time. Because
before COVID, we were 100% in office 5 days out the week, and then you know about that 5 days out the week.
Didn't, because I don't.
We were in the office, and this is when we had 2 locations, and so 5 days out the week in office, same shift, had to be there, and then COVID hit, and it was like, we're gonna take our time, and then it was just like, oh, everyone go home. And then since then, it's been like, now we have this hybrid model, so we only go in a couple days out the week, but yeah, so now we have that made that space that we could still work, still do what we needed to do, still have income, and same thing for Stephanie's job. She went fully remote. unfortunately now she's back in the office because she got a promotion.
Right.
So shout out to her. She the real breadwinner now. She be making this bank, So I'm trying to be a trophy husband.
Oh my gosh. I know you did not just say this trophy.
Hey, baby, keep pursuing what you're doing, so I can stay home with these girls.
Look at you. That's a stellar dad, man.
Hey, I'm trying to be what I need to be for my family.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful.
But we joke all the time. It's just like if one of us gets promotion, she's like, so I can quit my job now. As we keep going, one of us, either one of us is like, so you gonna keep going so I can quit? You gonna keep going so I can quit?
See, we so different when it comes to that, man. Because my wife does work, full time mom, full time at home mom.
Mm-hmm.
She works Mondays and Wednesdays for like 4 hours. It's very nice for a part time job. However, to have that conversation, so I can quit my job now. My wife could be not working this part time job, and I'd be like, yeah, you do the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to increase my pay.
Mm-hmm.
Or I've been there. For me in my marriage, like it's been ups and downs, especially when it comes to money, because I've made, the 6 figures, or I lived the lifestyle of making 6 figures. Money coming in where it's like, I'm making for my salary alone $5,000 a month. But then on top of that, I'm making a commission of like 10 bands, 20 bands a month, which is fantastic.
Yeah.
And so, but then just understanding like the hustle of money.
Yeah.
The hustle of it. Like you gonna work when you got some bread. You can build something to where you don't work as much. That takes more time.
Yeah.
But if you want to immediately start making some bread, you can do it.
You gotta work.
Anybody can do that. You just gonna have to work. And not that I don't enjoy working, but I don't like being a slave to nobody besides the Lord.
Yeah.
You could work me like a dog in the church, and I really won't have any qualms about it.
Yeah.
Because I enjoy that.
Right.
I enjoy acts of service. I enjoy giving to people.
That's not really work.
That's not really work.
Mm-hmm.
You told me to go around and drive to 18 different homes in a day to see if they sell their house to me and negotiate how much they're going to sell it for. And I don't get home. I leave at my house at 7 a.m. and I don't get home till 8 p.m. And my daughter, I didn't get to see my daughter all day. And my wife wants to, but I can't do it because I'm exhausted and I got to go to sleep just to prepare for the next day. But that's no.
Yeah.
That's not it.
Yeah. It's all about that balance.
It's all about the balance. And for me, it was the love of money. Because like even in film, I was making good money. Like when I was flying, we were flying drones, I was making like $800-900 a day. A day. Only thing that sucked was that it wasn't every day.
Yep.
Because I would have some struggle months. Like we only went one time. I'm like, I can't live off $900.
Yeah.
But some good months would be like 6 days. I'm like, you made 6 bands. And my wife ain't got to really do nothing, but she was working too. But no, I really love to hear that you guys have such a combo of being parents, being married, and working parents. Because we don't experience that. Like we not, me and my wife are not both working full time.
Yeah.
And so it's different for us in our household as it pertains to that. Because Mariah's home with Ava all day.
Yeah, and that's something I wanted to ask you because Stephanie was doing a lot of the legwork. As was, I had got my promotion first, so I was in a lot of meetings, so I couldn't really, be as hands-on. But for the most part, Leia was still here, so she had to work and be mom and do all that stuff. So that's one thing I wanted to ask you, how your dynamic, your wife stays at home for the most part, and you work, outside of the house for the most part. How does that impact your relationship and your marriage? Just your dynamic.
Ooh. Wow. That's a good question. I would say I love it. I've always wanted to stay at home wife. That's just something I always wanted. And I would say that comes from my grandmother being a stay-at-home mom, and like for a stint of my life, she was raising us at home when my mom was finishing college. Not for a long stint, just a short stint, and my mom. But seeing my mom gone all the time, and I ain't like I'm fending from me and my brother fending for ourselves at like 6 and 8, or really 5 and 7 at the house by ourselves. Yeah, kind of it can get to you after time. Not to say anything about my mom. My mom is fantastic. Don't y'all say nothing. But
hey, don't you talk about Miss?
Yeah, don't talk about what? But no, it's fantastic to me, and I'm. It's sometimes where I have to balance. Is it still good with Mariah? Because I never want her to feel like she's trapped at home. I've asked her plenty of times, do you want to go back to work? Are you sure you want to stay here and do this? She'll have a moment where she's like, I don't know. And then like a day later, she's like, I'm good. I'm stay home. I'm gonna stay home. And I'll be like, cool. I think for us, it's challenging sometimes because we don't make as much money anymore. And that sucks for me. Because I want to provide better. Yeah. And it's hard when you're not moving for yourself and you're moving for Christ. Yeah. Like I want to be in full-time ministry right now. That is one of my goals, right? However, ministry don't pay that great all the time. Yeah. It depends on
despite what some of you guys might think. The people that you watch.
Yes. Hey, because some y'all be looking at these mega churches and they be paying well. These smaller churches don't be doing that. And they pay a living wage. It's still more than what I make right now. Like, but with wanting to do that, you sacrifice a lot of things.
Yeah. 100%.
When it comes to like, we don't got our own home right now. That sucks. I wish my wife could walk around the house freely. I know my wife is a free bird. She like to walk around the house, butt naked, but that's just us. And she can't really do that as often as she want, or by like, cause we live with my mother-in-law. But not to say that that's an issue either, cause I've seen the blessings in it. Yeah. It's shown us how we can get through anything. Yeah. How we build together. How much more often that we pray. We pray and we like, God, just get us through this month. Like we had a month, we went to the hospital 4 times. And I was like, I don't know how we gonna pay for this. But like the Lord provided still. Yeah. And we good, bro. We're not hurting. I would love to increase my pay, like I said, but we're not hurting. Yeah. Like God has covered us. And living with my mother-in-law as well, it's unique. Cause I get sick of it sometimes. I'm sure she gets sick of it sometimes. I'm sure sometimes there's a balance where you like, I really just want to be in my own space and y'all here. Yeah. Or you're here, but it's the same, vice versa. And we make sacrifices because America is the only place in the world that I feel, or America, I'm North America. Yeah. The only places in the world where, besides Mexico, it's part of North America, where you gotta be independent from your parents so early. Yeah. Because every other culture I know, they stay in the house till they in their 30s. Yeah. And their kids are in there with the grandparents. Yeah. Grandparents are watching the kids while the parents go and work. And until until that house is paid off, so the grandparents can live, off of their retirement, the parents go work. And then when they get their own house, it's the same cycle. Yeah. And you recognize that, it feels tight, it feels close and impacted, but there's such a benefit to it. Yeah. And that was biblical too. Biblical times, like they was living together.
They were shacked up.
They were shacked up, bro. Do you know? I looked at this. I read this recently because I just did a video about Joseph. Oh yeah. And how his father Jacob had 12 sons. They was living on the same compound, a piece of land together with all their families. You think all them sons didn't have no wives? Yep. And kids? And was out there building stuff? Close? They were all close. On their father's deathbed, they was close. Like, come on.
Think of Jacob. Yeah. When he returned back, he had a horde of them. A horde of them. And where did they think they were staying? With their stepfather.
Yes.
And so like they were all together, and he had 2 wives, some concubines.
And some concubines. No, that's so funny. But yeah, it's unique. And I have to catch myself because really it's a blessing, and I'm allowing it. Sorry, I pray that I push away the negativity that everyone tries to push on it.
Yeah.
Because it's like, oh, you ain't no man, bro. You ain't out there by yourself or with your family in your house, bro. Y'all struggling out here, bro.
Yeah, it's like, are you struggling?
Right.
I'm not struggling. Are you happy? I'm not,
Yeah, exactly. I'm good. Like,
right.
I'm good. Like, I still got savings.
Yeah.
I still got my stock portfolio. Some people out there right now trying to hold on to this house that you can't afford.
Yeah, facts.
And it's so tough for you. Not to say you got to get rid of it. If you want to hold on to it, I understand. But sometimes it's recognizing that you're not in a place to be by yourself. And it's really okay to go home.
I think that's the pride of us. Like we want to be so independent.
Sorry about that. That was my phone.
It's all good. We want to be so independent so bad, but we always need. I seen something the other day. They say adults need villages too.
Boom.
It's not just kids.
Facts.
We need community. We need a support system. We need somebody that we can depend on and rely on. And that's not a knock. You know what I'm saying? Like, we aren't built to be alone. You know what I mean? Either alone in our relationships. We're not meant to be isolated.
Yeah.
You can be isolated, in a relationship. You still need outside community for that to thrive. And so, but yeah, that's a beautiful thing, man. And I think so many people miss their blessings because they are so prideful and they want to do this by themselves, or we want to do this alone. And going into one of my fears going into like, a relationship and into marriage is that I wouldn't have a community with my spouse's family, or vice versa. We've been blessed to where our respective families love us and our spouses.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I think that's really big because it's like you need that all on all phases from all sides.
Yeah.
Especially when you have kids. You know what I mean? And it's hard enough when you don't have kids. You need that support. But yeah, so like I 100% agree. If you have that support system, stick to that support system, and then just allow that to continue to bless you.
Yeah, man. I 100% agree. As we've been there, I've grown in it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But here's because I gotta have this last question for you.
Okay.
Would you be married?
Ooh.
If God was not in your life?
Oh, absolutely not.
Really?
If God was not in my life?
Yeah.
No.
Why?
Just because without God, I'm a horrible person.
What?
I mean, that's it. Without God, I would be still trying to, fulfill my fleshly desires. I could tell you this, like being married, you do a lot of things you don't want to do. Right? You make a lot of sacrifices.
That's facts.
And so like, and if, I probably would have gotten married, but would that marriage have lasted? No. Because ultimately, like, God has made our marriage better. And I mean, we had, especially in the beginning, we have some rough spots. I think, the first couple of years of marriage is always the toughest because you're starting to get used to this. You're trying to get used to this cadence. You're trying to get used to this person. You're trying to get used to everything. And then what they don't talk about is this pressure that I felt like we were together. I didn't feel no pressure. Like we're dating, boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever it may be.
Mm-hmm.
Soon as we put these rings on, and as soon as it was like, yep, you're married, I got this pressure on my shoulders. And it was just like, oh man, this is heavy. You know what I mean? I got to make sure that everything that I do is a reflection not only of God, but also of Stephanie as well.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And, I've had a couple hiccups here and there, but ultimately I never want to, like, if God was not in my life, I would still be thinking about myself, number one, all the time. But since God has constantly reminded me, it's not always going to be about me.
Yeah.
Most of the time, it's never about me.
So true.
The pain, the trials, the obstacles, all that wasn't for me. It's for being able to tell it and to share the gospel and what he brought me through for somebody else. Right. And so, thinking it from that perspective, and like I said, I'm not perfect. I still mess up. I still fall short. More frequently than I would like to admit. But I'm growing, and it's like, okay, let's not check that box again. Let's not fall short in this area again. Let's grow. Yeah. And that's my biggest thing too. And I think me and Stephanie talk about it all the time. Like I'm a sucker for feedback. I love feedback, and I'll try my best to take what you tell me and apply it, and then, and move forward. Sometimes it takes you a little bit longer to correct some stuff.
Yeah, because you in your feelings a little bit. Yeah.
But like you said earlier, that accountability is really good. And so, but yeah, just to circle back, yeah, if God was not in the forefront of my life, if I was married, that marriage wouldn't have lasted for long.
Yeah,
for sure.
I honestly think, and I want, when people hear this, to not think that I'm saying marriage can only work with God, but I'm trying to say marriage only succeeds with God. It's only successful with God. Like, you can be married and y'all be married 50 years and neither one of y'all knew God, but marriage was what God created.
Yeah.
Like, it's successful because you have God attached to it. Like, the things that you push aside of yourself because you remember, as I walk with Christ, there's a behavior that I carry. There's the Holy Spirit that I carry within myself. And so I don't move the same, right? And so when my wife does something that to any other person, be like, oh, I'm done. I'm good. Like, I'm done. I'm out of here. You're done. All that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I recognize that God would forgive.
Yeah.
And with God forgiving, the heart is different. And so now my heart feels like, okay, this did suck for me. But man, how did she get here?
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's not her fault or what she did was not on her, but I got enough of a heart to forgive her for what she's done and try to work on it. Because marriage is not built to be about happiness all the time.
100%.
I hate when people say that. I hate
100%.
I hate when people say that. Like,
if you get married for happiness, it's not gonna last long.
It's not. It's not gonna last long.
It's not gonna last long.
You're gonna be real upset
very quickly too.
Yeah, like, because I'm saying too. Like, I've heard people, like, when it comes to dating and stuff, like, man, if I'm not happy, I'm finna leave. And it's just like, since when was, like, relationship based on your happiness? Bro, I can get pissed off at my boy or homeboy for doing something stupid. But then if I, like, dart off because I was unhappy for a moment, I just suck at managing my own relationships.
Man, and then I think too, like, I heard this especially when we were going through, like, marriage counseling and stuff. People treat marriage as a contract now, and instead of a covenant.
It's all financial.
Yeah, you know what I mean? And, it's same thing how people say church is a business. Like, I can see the similarities, but it's not the same, right? And so when you enter a contract, you know what I mean, there's some things that you can break this contract, you cancel this contract, but you are entering in an agreement and a promise with God, with this person, right? And one of those vows is through the sickness and health, I don't know all of it, so and all that stuff. The good and the bad, you know what I'm saying? Like,
for richer, for poor.
For richer, for poor.
Yes.
And then people say those things, and then you be poor and be like, I'm out. Like, You know?
Yes, and see, there was this video I saw of a comparison of how a wife should act on her wedding day, right?
Mm-hmm.
So there was this video of this guy and this couple getting married, and the pastor was going through for in sickness and in health. She said, in sickness and in health, for rich or for poor, and she paused,
Mm-hmm.
and she was like, yes, for rich or for poor. She's in the pastor's like, we talked about this in counseling.
Yep.
And they all laughing, and then so is
Mm-hmm.
the spouse to be, the spouse to be the husband. And then they went into later on they talked about what was it to obey,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And she was like, we didn't talk about this in counseling. And the pastor's like, yes, we did. And then he was like, do you want to say it? She's like, no, we can skip over that one. And that was wild to me.
Yeah.
Because I'm saying, like, yo, there are times when me as a man, it's a situation like this. Sometimes when you and your girl or your wife are combating
Mm-hmm.
an order, sometimes like it's not like I'm trying to do this to just have you be unhappy your whole life. But if I tell you to duck and you question it, you're gonna get shot.
Yeah.
Like
Mm-hmm.
like it's a real situation. It's like, hey, why you don't like someone cut you in line, hey, and your wife getting mad. I know they ain't cutting us. Like, hey, calm down,
Mm-hmm.
chill out. You don't know these dudes.
Mm-hmm.
Then another woman speak up saying, I know y'all can't cut us, and she get her butt whooped
Mm-hmm.
because they move different than us.
Yeah.
But because I'm not giving you a order, I'm really trying to help you out. It is an order, but I'm trying to help you out, and because I know something that you don't, right?
Yeah.
So in this one, she was like, I can't obey him. I was like, I don't know how. I pray it is successful. I really do, but I don't know, because there was another example of a woman that got on her knees and said, I will give you my everything.
Mm-hmm.
I love that God gave us this, and I will love you like Christ loves the church.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I feel like when God is involved in marriage, you just seek different things.
Yeah.
You don't seek the money. You're not leaving just because someone broke for the time.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen too much of that where it's like they leave just because they money's down.
And and I don't know the stats, and it could be changed, but back they always said 50% of the couples
50% of
marriages fail,
Mm-hmm.
and like 75% of that is for financial reasons.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So that goes right there. For rich or poor, you guys don't even know the vows that you're saying.
Yo.
And so
Exactly.
if that stat is so high, why is that not being talked about more? Like, why
Yeah.
isn't, you can't have, like you said, you can't succeed in marriage if Christ is not in the home.
Yes. And the thing is, I wish there was a stat that they showed of how much successful marriages there are with God when someone is actively seeking God. Because I understand, like you say you're a Christian and you had a moment where you had a lapse and you messed up. Like I get it. And there could be a fallout from that. But when someone is actively seeking God and paying attention to living Christ-like, I want to see the stats for that.
Yeah.
I want to see the growth and stats for that.
And I think too, like the biggest thing, I think you touched on it earlier, is that when you're actively seeking God and you actively have God in your life, the biggest thing is nothing is too big to forgive. Nothing is too big to forgive. And that's something too, like, and not only forgiving your partner, but forgiving yourself.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, when you fall short or you come up short, you can't expect anybody to forgive you if you don't first forgive yourself, and believe in, walk in that forgiveness.
Yeah.
And then, because too, like if nothing is unforgivable, then you move different. But if you're holding on and you're resenting this person just because of situation here, situation there, you let that build up, then you really aren't going to be at peace at your house. So I think forgiveness is a big part of that.
Yeah. And this is the last thing I want to touch on real quick, and it's really to the y'all, because something that me and Mariah talked about is you got one time to cheat. And when I told my friends that, they were like, bro, if my girl cheat, I'm gone, bro. Like, I already know what it's like for her to have cheated. It's for like she's in love with another man. And then I think about it, I'm like, okay, yes, if I'm looking at how society looks at relationship, if my wife cheated, she is in love with this dude or something like that, right? And that could be the case, right? However, Christ forgave us. Christ literally gave his own body, flesh and blood, and did nothing wrong and forgave everybody for that, right? So if I look at cheating, you cheat on me, and I'm like, I can't forgive you. I'm done. Bounce. I'm out. Like, who am I?
Yeah.
I'm trying to live like Christ. My focus is to live like Christ. So in this example, I have to be like, it sucks. It hurts. Not to say that Christ didn't have feelings.
Yeah.
My gosh. The man was like, hey, God, do we really have to do this?
Facts.
Do we really?
Let this cup.
We can really move on from this and do something else, right?
Right.
No, we have to do this. Dang it. All right. I rock with you. And
so man was sweating blood.
Sweating blood, man. And so I have to think of it like this. If Christ can forgive, why can't I? If Christ can forgive me for multiple things, like several times, why can't I? Sure, it sucks. Sure, it's like it's painful. I'm sure. Like I understand that the feeling of my partner who I trusted and gave it my all to, and I've done nothing wrong to them or sexually, I guess, is a pain that I can't remove. But the thing is, you got to give it to God.
Yeah.
You got to give it to God, because when you give it to God, I promise I've done it so much now where I don't even think about it no more. I don't even think about it no more when someone hurts me and I give it to God and they like, oh, we good? Like we fine? Yeah, bro, I gave that to God. I forgave you and I'm willing to move forward.
That's big. And just the humility in that, because I think me and Stephanie have that same rule. Like, you get that, because that's the only biblical out.
That's the only one.
The only biblical
only
out.
one.
Everything else, you stay together. But if you cheat, if you are, you're doing your thing out there in the streets, go ahead.
Right.
But but it's just like, you do want to have, a real heart for God and a real heart for Jesus, and ultimately, like you said, nothing is too big to not forgive, right? And I think that's always something on the forefront of my mind is, hey, like, how can I work on my forgiving? How can I work on my forgiving? It's not why am I holding on to these things? And then you realize once you do, there's that freedom in it. You know what I'm saying? Because, you're not looking for or holding on to anything anymore. Like you said, you're giving it to God and you're moving forward. And that's how we should be. And, in marriage too, like, I also think too, like, we just have to be mindful, and we have to, that's when that discernment comes in.
Yeah.
Right? When you're talking marriage, is this person somebody that's going to, one, challenge me, and two, stay, in it. You know what I'm saying? So, and things happen in marriages that it happens. So, but it's like, how do you respond?
How do you respond?
And that's not just marriage, and everything in life. You may not necessarily be able to control what happens, but you can control how you react to it.
Boom. We can leave it on that.
Yes.
We can leave it on that.
I do want to, because I do have a verse.
Yeah, he always ready.
And do have a verse, ready. And we both serve our youth at the church that we serve, the Factory. The Factory in Woodstock, Georgia. If you are in the area, please come check them out.
Pull up.
You will love it there. I'm telling you.
Bring your kids.
Yes.
We have a great time with them every Wednesday, man.
But we're studying Colossians, and so in Colossians there is chapter 3, verses 18, and you probably know this, 18 to 20. It says, "Wives, submit to your husbands as is fitting in the Lord. Husband, love your wives and do not be harsh with them." Now it goes on and it continues to talk about children, obey your parents and everything for this pleases the Lord. Father, do not provoke your children, lest they become discouraged. So it's talking pretty much talking about rules for a Christian household. So I know, I know hot topic is the wives submit to your husbands, but I just want to see what it says here, and it's pretty much just saying, not like just submit, but really just out of the love that you have for Christ is the love that you have for your husband, and same thing for the husbands. Love your wives and do not be harsh to them, right? And that's something that convicted me because you may not intentionally be, bashing your wife or bashing your husband. You may not be calling them out of their names. You may not be lying and things like that. But, are you doing everything that you need to do for them? Right? And one thing that Stephanie is putting me on game on is, she's working on my emotional intelligence. But, fulfilling what she needs in her love language, providing what she needs to that makes her feel loved, and not going off of what I think she needs. And so that's something that I just wanted to leave everybody with is, harsh is such a word that we want to be like, well, I'm not hitting her. I'm not cheating on her, or I'm not, calling him out his name. I'm not doing anything like that. But are you doing everything that you can to satisfy what that person needs to feel that love and to feel God through you?
Yeah, I like that.
So
that was Bob.
Hey, man.
That was Bob.
That's the Lord working through me in the Word.
Absolutely, man. Look, so we're going to ahead and end this episode, man. I want to say thank y'all so much for watching. If you made it to the end, man, thank y'all, man. We appreciate it, man. We support y'all for just walking through this walk with us as well. I will say, go ahead and if you're here, like and subscribe to the page or to the Forge. We are just getting started, like we said. Officially, first one done and looking beautiful, man.
Yes.
I'm so happy to see it.
Super excited.
But I will go ahead and pray us out. Oh, wait, I will say this first, too. The reason why we call this the Forge is because we want to go through the fire like iron and sharpen ourselves, right? Iron sharpens iron. We have these conversations because we want to grow with each other and grow in Christ and our relationship with Christ. And you, like he said earlier, the community to help grow and exponentially raise ourselves to a higher standard and maintain it. So, no dullness, all sharp.
All sharp.
So I'll go ahead and pray us out. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you today for this opportunity just to speak, Lord, just to speak about you, speak about the things that you've given us, Lord, marriage, Lord. I ask that you cover us, Lord, as we continue our walks. For those out there that are listening that are struggling with their marriage, Lord, I ask that you cover them and let them seek you to increase their marriage, Lord, and to improve it, level it up, Lord. I ask that you cover the ones that are having fantastic marriage to continue to do the same thing as they move with you to continue to be great. Father, I ask that those who are looking to seek marriage to understand, Lord, that without you, marriage is not marriage, Lord. It's a mirage, Lord. And so I ask that you cover us continuously, Lord. Be with us, Lord. Let the forge grow and let the fire grow and let us continue to sharpen ourselves. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
Amen.
Y'all be good.
Have a good one. Love you guys. Until next time.